When Lu Chengjun finally let go of my hand for the fourth time, the wedding MC was already reciting the exchange of vows. He glanced at his phone, his expression changing, and in front of more than 300 guests he said, "Ji Xia, WN Ning is in danger. I must go." I didn't stop him. I bowed my head, slipped off the ring, and took back the folder that listed all the wedding expenses from the bridesmaid. The audience fell silent first, then someone whispered, "Isn't that Su Wanning again?" Then someone sighed, "This is the fourth time, isn't it?" I heard it, every word felt like a needle, pricking my ears. For the first wedding, he received a call from Su Wanning on the way to the ceremony, saying she had fainted in the rented house. He left the convoy and carried her to the hospital. For the second wedding, he disappeared briefly at the hotel entrance, saying Su Wanning had been kicked out by the landlord and had no one with her. For the third wedding, he left an hour before the marriage certificate was issued, saying Su Wanning had a mental breakdown and stood at the edge of the rooftop. This time, I stood on the stage in a wedding dress, still holding the white rose he personally chose. "He wants to walk away again." Lu Chengjun held my wrist, his voice lowered, "Ji Xia, don't mess around. This time it's really serious." I looked up at him. Which time wasn't serious? He froze. I pulled my wrist out of his palm. Mother Lu in the audience had already stood up, her expression unhappy, not because she cared for me, but because she feared the situation getting out of hand. She walked quickly to the edge of the stage, lowering her voice, "Jixer, you keep the guests steady for now. Chengjun will go take a look and be back. You are the legitimate fiancé, you should have the bearing." I look at her, "Auntie." I held it steady like this even in my first 3 times. Lu Mu's face stiffened. I continue. "The first time, I paid the deposit for the hotel on behalf of the Lu family. The second time, I sent guests away, table by table. The third time, you said that registering could be postponed to another day, and told me not to make a big thing out of it." I open the folder in my hand. The top page is a breakdown of today's wedding expenses: final hotel payment, wedding decor, photography and videography, party favors, guest accommodations, rush flowers after each item. The pair is my name. Lu Chengjun frowned. "Ji Xia, it's not time to calculate money now." I nodded. Of course it's not time to calculate money now. I placed the ring on the podium. The ring tapped against the glass surface with a crisp sound. The whole audience heard it. Now is the time to break off the engagement. Luo Chengjun's face suddenly darkened. Su Wanning's phone was still ringing. He looked at his phone, then at me. For the first time I saw panic on his face. It's not because he can't let me go, it's because I didn't expect that I would really say the engagement is off on stage. Lin's mother rushed from the audience, grabbing my arm. "Lin Ji Xia, are you crazy? With so many relatives here, where do you think our family face goes?" I looked at her, gripping my hand tightly. "Since childhood, she has always been like this. Little brother caused trouble. She said I was sensible. Let me speak up for him. Father owes favors. She said I am capable. Let me go make amends. The Lu family looks down on me. She said a woman's marriage isn't easy. Let me endure." I take a deep breath and gradually pull her hand away. "Mom, the one who looks bad isn't me." Lin's mother widened her eyes. "You're talking back again." I didn't answer her anymore. I turned to face the guests. "Dear all, today's wedding is cancelled. I'm sorry for making everyone make a pointless trip. The hotel meals are as usual. The accommodations are as usual, and the return coach is still arranged as planned." I paused, and my voice was steadier than I expected. "All the expenses for this wedding will be advanced by me. First, I will settle the responsibilities with the Lu family afterward. Please consider today's meal as a send-off for myself." The hall fell into dead silence. Master of Ceremonies Old Jew stood to the side, his lips moved, his eye sockets reddening. He has officiated 4 of my weddings. Each time he helped me smooth things over. This time, he didn't persuade anymore, only steadied the microphone. Lu Chengjun finally hung up the phone. He whispered, "Ji Xia, I know you're wronged, but you can't gamble with marriage on an argument." I smiled a little. "I've bet 4 times and lost 4 times. His face turned pale. Su Wanning's message popped up. I saw that line on the screen. "Chengjun, I'm so scared. I only have you." Familiar to the point of making me want to vomit. In the past I would push myself down, tell myself that patients were more important, that those who have emotional collapses are more important, that Lu Chengjun was simply too kind, but now I only find it ridiculous. If a man's kindness forever passes over his fiancée and lands on another woman, That is not kindness, that is favoritism. Lu Chengjun finally left. He didn't even change out of his suit. He jumped off the stage, walked across the red carpet, through the guests' gazes, and sprinted toward the hotel entrance. Just like the first 3 times, only this time, I didn't chase after it. I stand in place, watching the door at the end of the red carpet slowly close. Everyone's gaze falls on me. Some people sympathize, some revel in misfortune. Someone picks up their phone, only to be pressed down by the person beside them. I lift the hem of the wedding dress and step off the stage. With every step, the rhinestones on the hem scrape the ground. I reach the sign-in table and put away the gift book. Mother Lu rushed over to stop me. "What are you doing?" I said. "This is the cash gift of my side's relatives and friends. I will refund it." "And what about the Lu family's guests?" "The Lu family will refund themselves." Mother Lu's face turned ashen. "Do you have to look so ugly about it?" I tucked the wedding gift record into my arms. "Auntie, what's ugly is the groom's 4th attempt to run away from the wedding." She was blocked by me and couldn't speak. Lin Mu cried and scolded again. "How did you become like this? Didn't Cheng Jun say it? He will come back, and you just can't wait a little longer." I looked at her. "Mom, I have waited 7 years." She stood there dumbfounded. "I won't explain anymore." Explanation is useless. If a person is used to you giving in, they won't feel you're wronged. They will only think you suddenly became disobedient. I head toward the hotel back door. The wedding dress is too heavy. I almost tripped on the hem and fell. A hand reached over from the side and steadied my elbow. I looked back. It was Shen Yang. He wears a black shirt, with his jacket draped over his arm, tall in stature, with a straight back. A faint old scar marks the tail of his left eyebrow, and his gaze is calm. I know him. He is the grandson of the old neighbor of my grandmother. After retirement, he returned to this city. Before my grandmother passed away, she said that Shen Yang's life would be hard, but his heart is righteous. He is here today for the wedding because my grandmother was close with Mrs. Shen in life. He didn't say a word, only taking out a very old notepad from his pocket and writing a line. "Shall we leave here first?" The handwriting was steady, neat and straight. I looked at that line of words, and suddenly my eyes burned with emotion. Today so many people tell me to endure, to wait, to stop making a scene. Only he asks me if I want to leave. I nod. Shen Yang drapes his coat over my shoulders, keeping a polite distance, and walks me out of the hotel back door. When the door closed, a noisy crowd came from inside. I did not turn back. At that moment I knew that I and Lu Chengjun were really done, but I didn't expect that the bigger storm had only just begun. The wind at the back door of the hotel is very cold. I'm wearing a wedding dress, sitting on the steps, pulling the skirt to the side, holding the acceptance book and the expense folder in my hands. Shen Yang stands 2 steps away from me. He didn't ask if I was in pain, and didn't say that Lu Chengjun isn't a good person. He just handed me a bottle of opened water. I took it and took a sip. My hands trembled violently. The phone had been buzzing, shaking since just now. Ms. Lin, Mrs. Lu Chengjun, and the relatives group. I opened Lu Chengjun's message. "Xixia, Wanning just went into the emergency department. I'll wait for her to stabilize before going back." "Don't go yet. The wedding can still continue. Today you give me a little face, and I'll compensate you later." I stared at the words. The wedding can still go on for a long time. Turns out, in his heart, a wedding is like a performance. If he leaves midway, as long as he rushes back to take a bow, it's considered complete. I didn't reply. I place my phone face down on my knees. Shen Yang lowers her head to write. "Don't rush to reply. First, eat something." I chuckled and said, "Am I someone who can eat now?" He looked at me, then wrote again. "Then I won't eat for now. Waiting until you feel like eating. No encouragement, no judgment, and no one uses I'm doing this for your own good to push me in a certain direction." I suddenly feel quiet. This quiet is not indifference. It's a space that leaves room for a breath. A few minutes later, Lin's mother rushed out. She saw Shen Yang, first astonished, then her expression grew even uglier. "Lin, Jixia, have you already been in touch with him? No wonder you dared to call off the marriage today." I stood up. "Mom, think before you speak." Lin's mother pointed at me. "How do you want me to think? Your fiancé goes to save people, and you turn around and walk with another man. How will your relatives see you?" Shen Yang frowned slightly. He took another half step forward, then stopped. I know he wanted to shield me, but he didn't, because this is my battlefield. I turned on my phone, opened the payment record, and handed it to Lin Mu. "The remaining balance for the hotel is 186,000. The wedding celebration balance is 98,000, guest accommodations are 62,000, and the wedding dress rental and wear and tear deposit are 30,000, all of which I paid for. Mother Lin paused for a moment. I continued, for the first 3 cancellations of the wedding, the lost deposit and rescheduling fees add up to 274,000. I also paid for those. Her expression changed a bit. Isn't that all for your own wedding? It's for my own wedding, so I'm paying. I am looking at her. But now the wedding is off, I want to break off the engagement and settle the accounts. If you still want me to continue enduring it, first repay this money to me on behalf of Lu Chengjun. Mother Lin opened her mouth. She certainly won't pay it back. These years she, while saying I am the family's dignity, has been using my money to fill her brother's hole. My dowry, she says, should be kept at home for safekeeping. First, the betrothal gift from the Lu family, she says, she wants to use to help her brother make the down payment. I endured everything to ensure a smooth marriage and avoid any embarrassment. By the end, everyone agreed that I should have continued to endure. Ms. Lin lowered her voice and said, money, money, money. Why are you talking about money all the time now? If our relationship is this strained, how are we supposed to live together in the future? I replied, Lu Chengjun and I have no future together. I endured everything to ensure a smooth marriage and avoid any embarrassment. By the end, everyone agreed that I should have continued to endure. Ms. Lin lowered her voice and said, money, money, money. Why are you talking about money all the time now? If our relationship is this strained, how are we supposed to live together in the future? I replied, Lu Chengjun and I have no future together. She raised her hand to strike me. Shenyang reached out to block it. The movement was quick, but he didn't. Pushing with force, just stood in front of me. Lin's mother trembled with anger. You still defend her? Do you know what she did today? She has shamed our Lin family's name. Shenyang tore a page from the notepad and handed it to her. It read, the person who was abandoned does not lose face. Lin's mother's voice choked. She felt as if she had been slapped in public. I stared at the paper, my chest tight. Why is it that such simple words have never come from my family's mouths? Mother Lin stormed off, cursing. Before she left, she warned, if you dare not go home today, don't ever acknowledge me as your mother again. I didn't chase after her. Shenyang picked up that page from the ground, folded it, and handed it to me. I asked, have you always been unable to speak? He lowered his eyes and wrote, he can speak a little. He has damage to his vocal cords. Speaking for a long time hurts. He doesn't really want to talk. I nod. Sorry. He shook his head. After a while, he wrote again, where do you want to go now? I watched the cars moving back and forth on the street. Go home. At home, my mom would scold me, my dad would sigh, and my younger brother would say I'm delaying his marriage. Go to the wedding suite. That house is registered under Lu Qingjuan's name, but half of the renovation costs were paid by me. Go to a hotel. I just escaped from the wedding today. I suddenly realized that I have prepared for 4 weddings, yet I haven't left myself an escape route. Shenyang seemed to sense my confusion. He wrote, my grandmother's house is empty. You can stay for a night first. The door is shut from the inside. I live next door. I looked at him. Aren't you afraid I'll cause you trouble? He wrote, trouble isn't something you cause. I lowered my head, and tears splashed on my wedding dress. This sentence is light, yet heavier than all consolation. At 10 o'clock in the evening, I went with him to the small courtyard left by Grandma Shun. The yard isn't big, and it holds a Osmanthus tree. The room is clean. The bed sheets are newly changed. A kettle of hot water and a simple first aid kit are on the table. Shenyang places the keys on the table and writes another note. What would you like to do tomorrow? I'll go with you if you don't want to do anything. You can also sleep. I asked, why are you helping me? He was silent for a while, then he wrote, your grandmother helped me. Besides, no one should be left behind 4 times at a wedding. I clenched that paper. The phone lit up again. Lu Chengjun called. I hung up. He hits him again. I hang up again. Finally he sends a message. Shisha, don't be like this. Warning is already asleep. I'm at the hotel now. Where are you? We'll complete the wedding. I burst into laughter. So ridiculous. I replied to him, no need to finish. Lu Chengjun, break off the engagement. After sending it, I turned off my phone. Shenyang stood outside the door and didn't come in. He slid a piece of paper under the door. Go to bed early. Tomorrow will be hard, but you are not alone. I looked at those words, and my chest ached terribly. In the middle of the night, I couldn't sleep. I pulled out all the documents from the 4 weddings and sorted them by date: cancel the agreement, payment of compensation, hotel chat records, Lu Chengjuan's apology text message, voice to text of Lu's mother's request for me to be sensible, Su warnings every time there was just the right moment of news, a screenshot. I organized them one by one, saved them to the cloud drive, and backed them up to a USB drive when dawn was breaking. The hospital gate was knocked on from outside. Mother Lin's voice burst out outside. Linjia, you come out for me. The Lu family has arrived. Today you must go back and make things clear. I held the USB drive and stood up this time. I won't go to meet them empty-handed. When I opened the courtyard gate, Lin's mother stood at the door, followed by Lu's mother and Lu Chengjun. Lu Chengjun hadn't slept all night. His formal suit was wrinkled, and there were red bloodshot lines under his eyes. Seeing me wearing Granny Shen's old cotton jacket, his face turned pale. Did you stay here last night? I replied. Does it have anything to do with you? He choked. Lu Mu immediately replied. Ji Xia, Auntie knows you've been treated unfairly, but when a woman gets married, she must learn to be generous. Cheng Jun is kind-hearted as well. He can't just stand by and do nothing. I nodded, so I helped fulfill his kind heart. Mother Lu's expression softened. As if I had relented, I pulled out the betrothal annulment agreement from the bag. We won't be getting married. I've itemized the expenses incurred from the first 3 times in this wedding. The Lu family will cover the portion within your responsibility. Sign it. Lu Chengjun stared at me in disbelief. Are you really going to settle this with me so clearly? Yes, after 7 years, you only have money left. I look at him. Lu Chengjun, in 7 years of feelings, I gave you many chances. What you gave me in return was 4 parting silhouettes at the end of the red carpet. His Adam's apple bobbed. I went yesterday to save WN Ning. I did not stop you from saving them. I pushed the agreement forward, but I'm not getting married either. Lin's mother grew anxious and snatched the agreement away. What's signing? This marriage cannot be cancelled. I turn my head to look at her. Why can't you back out? You're already 29. If you break off the engagement, who would dare marry you? Besides, you were abandoned 4 times. What would people outside say? Now the Lu family is still willing to take you. You should step down gracefully. I laughed. Mom, so you think of me as something people want? Lin Mu's face turned pale. Lu Chengjun spoke softly. Ji Xia, Auntie didn't mean it that way. I looked at him. Then what do you mean? He fell silent. I kept asking. Do you want to marry me? Not because of 7 years. Not because of the 2 families. Not because of guilt. If you look at me now and say you want to marry me. Lu Chengjun opened his mouth. The phone rang. Su Wn Ning. He instinctively glanced at it. With just that look, I completely gave up. I retrieved the contract. You don't need to answer. Lu Chengjun hurriedly pressed the phone to end the call. Ji Xia, I cannot pick up, I said. No need. Every choice you make has already answered for you. At this moment, Shen Yang came out of the room. He changed into a dark-colored coat and held the car keys in his hand. He didn't come closer. He just stood in the hallway watching me. I suddenly recalled the sentence he wrote last night. What do you want to do tomorrow? I'll go with you. I turned to him and said, Shen Yang, are you free today? He nodded. Accompany me to the Civil Affairs Bureau. The courtyard fell silent in an instant. Lin Mu screamed first. Are you crazy? You just broke off your engagement and now you want to marry him. Lu Chengjuan's face turned pale. Lin Jixia, you're trying to get back at me with marriage. I looked at him. You think too highly of yourself. Shen Yang looked at me without replying immediately. He took out a small notepad and wrote slowly. Think it through. Marriage is not a tool to run away, I said. I'm not running away. I look at the few people in the yard. I am stopping, standing still, waiting for someone who will turn away and leave forever. Shen Yang writes again. You don't need to prove that someone wants you. I nod. I know. I paused for a moment, but I want to choose someone who won't abandon me in front of everyone at a critical moment, even if only to try to begin. Shen Yang looked at me for a long time, then he wrote, okay, but before we register, we draft an agreement. Your money stays yours, your matters you decide. I won't avenge you, and I won't stop you from fighting back. You can leave at any time. I looked at that paper, a lump forming in my throat. Lu Chengjun suddenly rushed over, grabbing my hand. No, I don't agree. Shen Yang blocked him. He didn't push him, he just stood there. Lu Chengjun was a little shorter than him, and his momentum immediately weakened. What are you? Lu Chengjun gritted his teeth. She is my fiancée. Yang lowered his eyes and wrote 3 characters in the notebook. It's no longer possible. I retract my hand and walk straight out. At the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, there aren't many people. I sit on a bench, holding the household registration book in my hand. This is something I prepared a long time ago after the first 3 weddings. Lu Chengjun said he would get the certificate soon. I believed him, so the household register was always kept in my bag. So ironic, originally prepared for him, it was ultimately used to end him. Yang sat nearby and handed me a handwritten agreement. The content was very simple. Keep personal property separate after marriage, respect each other's privacy, do not demand the other party sacrifice in the name of marriage. Either party can propose ending the arrangement at any time. The last line is, Lin Jixia doesn't need to take care of Yang's injuries, nor bear his past. I look at the last line. Then what about you? He writes, I will respect your past, but I won't let it hurt you. I signed. The staff looked surprised when they saw us. My eyes were red. Yang was silent, and no matter how you looked at it, it didn't seem like a. She repeated it 3 times. Are you sure you're volunteering willingly? I said, sure. Yang nodded. The seal dropped. The marriage certificate slid in front of me. When I picked it up, my phone popped up with dozens of messages. Lu Chengjun. Where are you, Lu Chengjun? Don't escalate this into something you can't control. Lu Chengjun. Jixia. I'm at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau. Lu Chengjun. If you dare to register, I won't forgive you. I looked up. Lu Chengjun really stood at the doorway. He saw the marriage certificate in my hand and stood frozen. Mother Lin stood beside him, her gaze as if she would tear me apart. I slipped the marriage certificate into my bag. Lu Chengjun rushed over, his voice trembling. Did you really marry him? I replied, yes. Do you know him? He can't even speak properly. You married a mute. My face grew cold. Yang's fingers tightened slightly. I stepped forward, standing in front of Yang. You have no right to humiliate him. Lu Chengjun. Lu Chengjun's eyes reddened. I have no right. I am the person who has been with you for 7 years. I looked at him, and the one who threw me away 4 times. He could not speak at all. I held on to Yang's not to put on a show for Lu Chengjun, but for the first time I stood clearly beside one person. Yang Shen lowered his head and looked at me. I whispered, let's go. He nodded. We stepped down from the stage, passing Lu Chengjun behind me. Lin Mu's cries rang out, Lin Jixia, if you dare to walk out today, don't come back to this home. I stopped in my tracks. I didn't turn back. Okay, when this word slips out, a certain rope in my heart snaps. I thought it would hurt, but more than that, it felt light. When the car reached Shen's small courtyard, Yang handed me the keys. I didn't take them. I'll come to look at houses tomorrow. He wrote, no need to hurry. The small courtyard is empty. I said, I don't want to take advantage of you. He looked at me and wrote a line, we are already married, but you don't have to feel wronged because of it. I took the keys. As soon as I entered the house, Father Lin called. He rarely reaches out to me after I answered. His first words were, Jixia, your mother's blood pressure is high from anger. You must go home immediately and make the dowry matters clear. I closed my eyes. Sure enough, what they care about most is not whom I married, whether that dowry can still be in their hands. I look at the marriage certificate on the table, my voice steady. All right, I'll go back. Yang looks up at me. I pick up the USB drive and the ledger from the bag. This time, I'll also clarify the accounts in detail. The living room of the Lin family was filled with people when I entered. My aunt, my maternal aunt, and my younger brother Lin Qihang were all there. Ms. Lin leaned back on the sofa, her forehead covered with a blood pressure patch, and her gaze at me resembled that of an enemy. The living room of the Lin family was filled with people when I entered. My aunt, my maternal aunt, and my younger brother Lin Qihang were all there. Ms. Lin leaned back on the sofa, her forehead covered with a blood pressure patch, and her gaze at me resembled that of an enemy. Father Lin sat in the main seat, his face grim. On the coffee table lay a red passbook. That is the dowry passbook my grandmother left me. Lin Qihang spoke first. Sister, you've really gone too far. On the wedding day you caused a breakup, and now you've married someone else. Now the whole family is unable to hold their heads up because of you. I put the bag down. You cannot lift your head, because you took my dowry to pay the down payment, yet you're here teaching me how to behave. Lin Qihang's expression changed. Aunt immediately mediated. Jixia, don't say things so harshly. Your brother buying a house is also a major family affair. I nod. My marriage isn't a big family matter. My younger brother's house is. The living room fell quiet for a moment. Mother Lin patted the armrest of the sofa. Are you hell-bent on tearing the family apart? Chi-hang is your own younger brother. What's wrong with helping him a little? Do you want to help a little? I take out the account book. I've worked for 7 years, sending 3,000 yuan a month to support the family. After grandma passed away, the 200,000 yuan she left me, you said you'd keep it for me first, then used it to give Chi-hang a down payment. The wedding gift from the Liu family was 168,000 yuan. You said you'd give it to me after the marriage, but in reality it was also transferred into Chi-hang's renovation account. Lin Chi-hang got anxious. Then isn't there a place for you to live in the house in the future either? I watch him. Is my name on the property deed? He doesn't speak. Mother Lin sneers. You, a daughter who has married out, really need to settle scores so clearly with your mother's family. I turned on my phone and projected the transfer records onto the TV one by one, clearly and distinctly. I'm here today to settle this once and for all. Father Lin finally spoke. Jixia, we've raised you all these years, and now you're turning against us for money. I turned my head to look at him. Dad, I didn't turn my back on you for money. It's because every time you need me, you say I'm family. Every time I suffer unfair treatment, you say a daughter who got married shouldn't be melodramatic. Mr. Lin's face darkened. Mrs. Lin pointed at Shenyang. And you? What does it mean for you to bring him here today? Do you want outsiders to laugh at our family? Shenyang stood beside me and did not sit down. He took out a handwriting board and wrote a line. I am her husband, not an outsider. Mother Lin choked. Lin Chi-hang scoffed. Husband, sister, don't be so ridiculous. How long have you known him? What can he possibly offer you? A retired man who can't even speak coherently. What do you expect from him? I raised my hand and placed a document on the coffee table. I hope he won't step on me again when I'm being humiliated, Lin Chi-hang said, his face turning pale. That is a screenshot of a message he sent in a group with friends and family. He said, my sister is just too difficult. She's been dumped 4 times yet acts proud. Now she can just find any man to marry. She'll regret it sooner or later. Below the screenshot, relatives in the group agree. Lan's mother couldn't hold back. Chi-hang was just talking a bit too impulsively. He is 26 years old, not 6. I looked at Lin Chi-hang. From today onward, I will no longer pay your mortgage, won't cover your car insurance, and won't transfer the so-called emergency funds anymore. Lin Chi-hang suddenly stood up. What do you mean? Literal meaning? Are you crazy? How will I pay my mortgage next month? I look at him. Your own house. You pay for it yourself. Lin Chi-hang was furious. Mom, look at her. Lin Mu immediately cried. How did I give birth to such a cold-blooded daughter like you? If your brother's funds are cut off, how will he get married? I said. Then don't get married. She raised her hand again to hit me this time. I did not hide. Shenyang also did not stop me. I grabbed her wrist for the first time. Mother Lin froze. I looked into her eyes and said, Mom, you have hit me for so many years. I used to think it was because you wished I would shape up. Now I know it was because I never fought back. Her lips trembled. I released her. Grandma left 20,000. The dowry is 168,000. Plus the money I've been helping the family repay over the years. I'm not asking you to pay it all at once. But from today on, write IOUs and repay monthly. Dad. Lin slammed the table. What kind of IOUs do family members write? I took out the pre-prepared papers. Then we'll report to the police for civil disputes. Lin Mu screamed. Are you going to accuse your own father and mother? I looked at her. I just want my money back. The living room was dead silent. Yang places the pen within my reach. The small gesture is light, yet it feels like a knife handed to me. It isn't for him to cut for me. It's a reminder that I can take action myself. Father Lin stared at the IOU, unmoving for a long time. In the end it was still Aunt who advised. Just write it first. Jia is in a heightened emotional state right now. Don't really cause a scene outside. In a heightened emotional state by this point. They still think I'm making a fuss. Father Lin bit down and signed. Mother Lin cried so hard she nearly ran out of breath. Lin Chi-hang refused to sign, so I directly dialed the bank customer service and cancelled the automatic transfer that bound to my payroll card. His phone rang very quickly. Mortgage deduction reminder failed. His face turned pale at once. Sis, are you serious? I stored the IOU. Everything I do since yesterday's wedding is real. As I stepped out, Lin's mother shouted from behind. Lin Jixia, you will regret this. The Liu family won't let you off. and Cheng Jun won't want you anymore." I stopped. I turned to look at her. "Mom, the thing I regret the least is that he doesn't want me anymore." Only when I got back into the car did my hands start to tremble. Shenyang handed me a piece of candy, a very ordinary orange candy. I laughed. "Do you carry this with you?" He wrote. "In the past, on missions, someone in the team had hypoglycemia. We're used to it." I put the sugar in my mouth, the sweetness spread. The phone rang again. This time it was Lu's mother. Her voice was cold as ice. "Jixia, the two families will have a meal together tomorrow night. You've made such a mess of this. You need to give the Lu family an explanation." I said, "Okay, Mother Lu." Probably didn't expect my quick agreement. I added, "I might as well, to settle the Lu family's accounts clearly." There was a silence on the other end of the line. I hung up and looked out the window. The night fell. I know tomorrow night won't be an ordinary meal, but I am no longer Lin Jixia who would go empty-handed to a banquet. The Lu family set the dinner at a high-end Chinese restaurant. The private room was very large. Mother Lu invited many relatives, ostensibly to clear up the misunderstanding, but in reality to pressure me by surrounding me with people. When Shenyang and I went in, the laughter in the private room paused for a moment. Lu Chengjun sat beside the main seat, looking haggard. Su Weining is here too. She wears a white knitted dress, her face pale, and medical tape on her wrist. When she sees me, she stands up at once. "Jixia Jia, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. Don't blame Cheng Jun, he's just too worried about me." I watch her. "You're glad it's your fault, Su." Wn Ning's tears were stuck in their sockets. She probably thought I would say it doesn't matter. I used to indeed, because I was afraid it would seem harsh. Afraid Lu Chengjun would think I lacked compassion. Afraid everyone would say I was arguing with a patient. But I later understood that truly measured people won't beg for help again and again at other people's weddings. Mother Lu wore a calm face. "Jixia, Weining's health isn't good. Don't speak so harshly." I sat down. Shenyang sat beside me. He did not start eating, nor did he look at anyone else. An aunt from the Lu family smiled and spoke. "Jixia, a woman should give a man some face. Cheng Jun is in a good position, and he values feelings. If you're now marrying someone out of pique, who will suffer in the end is yourself." I took out a folder and placed it on the turntable. "Then let's first look at the first document." The private room fell quiet. I pushed the documents in front of Mother Lu. The first wedding was cancelled. The hotel deposit was 60,000. The wedding car loss was 12,000. And the wedding ceremony rescheduling fee was 34,000. That night Lu Chengjun texted me saying he would take on half of it. This is his verbal commitment. Lu Qingjuan's face changed. I continued to push the second one. The second wedding was cancelled, and I paid 48,000 for the guests' accommodations. "Mother Lu, you said at the time that the Lu family's cash flow was tight, so I should advance the money first." Mother Lu's expression turned sour. Third one. The third marriage license cancellation, the wedding dress and the after photos loss amounted to 27,000. Lu Chengjun said Su Weining's situation is special, so let me not fuss. Fourth copy. Yesterday's wedding total expenditure was 376,000. The groom left the venue. The responsibility is not mine. I looked up total, 7,510,000. After subtracting the part that has already been returned, the Lu family needs to bear 423,000. The box was dead silent. "No." Lu family relatives smiled anymore. Mrs. Lu's face turned ashen. "Are you trying to drive the Lu family to its death?" I said. "Auntie, the Lu family lives in a villa and keeps 2 cars. I won't be forced to die because of 420,000, yet your son has abandoned me 4 times. Almost really dying at someone else's joke." Lu Chengjun whispered. "Jixia, I didn't know you remember so clearly, because I paid for every penny." I looked at him. The person who hurts feels it most clearly. Su Weining suddenly burst into tears. "I'm sorry. I really didn't realize I would cause you so much harm. I'm just so scared. My parents aren't here with me. I only have Cheng Jun to rely on." I asked her, "Don't you have any other friends?" She froze. "Are there any other relatives?" She bit her lip. "Is there no emergency hospital number?" Her face went pale. I put my phone on the table. "First time, you said you fainted, but in the photo you sent to Lu Chengjun, there's takeout on the table, and there's a half-eaten cake beside it." Su Waning's breath paused. "The second time, you said you were kicked out by the landlord, but that day the landlord was out of town, and you volunteered to terminate the lease early. The third time, You said you were standing on the edge of the rooftop. The property records show that the rooftop door for your building had long been sealed. The fourth time, you said an emergency room visit. But the billing shows it was an ordinary outpatient infusion. These things are not surveillance. Not recordings, it's a photo she posted herself, the message Lu Chengjun sent me, the payment record, the group notification all in front. It's just that I didn't want to look at it before. Lu Chengjun suddenly looked at Su Wanning. Evening Ning. Su Wanning's tears fell even harder. I was really distressed back then. Chengjun, you know me, I'm just afraid of losing you, my friend. I laughed. A friend would say I only have you during someone else's wedding vows. I opened the private message she sent me last night, clearly on the screen. Lin Jixia, 4 times already, can't you understand? As long as I say the word, he will always come to my side. So what if you're wearing a wedding dress? The first person to run to is still me. The air in the private room felt frozen. Lu Chengjun stared at those few lines, his face gradually turning pale. Su Wanning reached out to grab the phone. Shenyang raised a hand to block him, didn't touch her, only pushed the phone back toward me. Su Wanqing cried and shook her head. That's not what it's like, Chengjun. I was speaking out of anger. I put away my phone. Whether it's just hot air doesn't affect your responsibility for your actions. Mother Lu finally couldn't sit still. Enough, even if Wanning said something wrong, you're already married. Why are you still grabbing onto Chengjun and not letting go? I look at her. What I'm grabbing onto isn't Lu Chengjun, it's the bill. I take out the repayment agreement, signed. From now on, everyone will not bother each other. Mother Lu trembles with anger. Don't even think about it. I nod. Then I will hand the documents to the lawyer and inform all yesterday's guests that the reason for cancelling the wedding and the responsibility for costs will be confirmed by the law. Lu family cares most about face. This sentence is more effective than any tantrum. Mother Lu's face darkened. Lu Chengjun reached out and took the agreement. I sign. Lu's mother angrily said. Chengjun, his voice was hoarse. Mom, she owes me. When he signed, his hand was trembling the whole time. I watched his name fall onto the page, and in my heart there was no ease, only a fatigue that came late. 7 years of affection, finally reduced to a ledger. But if the accounts aren't settled, everyone will continue to treat my silence as free. When the dinner party ended, Su Wanning came out after. She stood at the end of the corridor, tears already dry. She lowered her voice. Lin Jixia, you think you married a retired man who can't speak, just jumping from one pit to another. I looked at her. She smiled lightly. Chengjun is only temporarily remorseful. He will eventually realize that the person who understands him best is still me. I take out my phone. She immediately becomes wary. What are you doing? Save your words. Her expression changed. You want to screenshot again? I said, yes, because you always have a poor memory. She gritted her teeth. You can't beat me at snatching. I put the phone back into my bag. Su Wanning, I'm not here to snatch Lu Chengjun away. I step forward a little. I'm here to return him to you. She froze. A man who would always leave his fiancée at a critical moment. You like him? Then hold him steady. I turned and walked away. Shun Yang stood under the corridor light waiting for me. He handed over the scarf. I took it and asked, did you think I was scary just now? He wrote, not scary, clear. I smiled as soon as I stepped out of the restaurant. Lu Chengjun chased after me. No, Summer. I stopped. He stood on the steps, his eyes frighteningly red. Have I always made you feel so wronged? I watch him. You're asking now. It's already too late. His lips moved. The phone rang again. Su Wanning. He glanced downward. I smiled a little and turned to get into the car. This time, he did not catch up. The next day, I went to the wedding planning company in the warehouse. The flower stands that were withdrawn yesterday were still piled up. The white roses had already wilted a bit. The red carpet rolled up in the corner, like an abandoned old wound. Old Jew looked at me and sighed. Jixia, you finally came. I placed a bag of joy candy on his desk. Thank you for smoothing things over yesterday. Old Jew waved his hand. I've presided over weddings for 20 years, and this is the first time I've seen a girl be left waiting by the same groom 4 times. I smiled. It's my first time too. Old Jew looked at me, his eyes full of sympathy. I've the records you asked for. Every rescheduling, cancellation, and on-site emergency is noted in the contract remarks. Also, yesterday the MC's process stalled before exchanging vows, and that's clearly documented. He handed the file bag to me. I pick it up, my fingers tense. These papers are very thin, but they are the ladders I climbed out of the mud with, Laroju said. Jixia, I have one more word to say. In the past you were too considerate of the situation, every time. The Lu family said don't make a scene, you would fill the gap yourself. People, if you don't cry out in pain, others really think you aren't in pain. I nodded. From now on it won't happen. After leaving the wedding planning company, I went to the hospital not to go find Su Warning, but to check the project descriptions of the payment slips in my hand. The nurse at the window looked at the slips and said, these are all ordinary infusions and anxiety outpatient visits, not emergency rescue. I asked, will it endanger life? The nurse shook her head. It can't be told from the form, at least there's no resuscitation record. I thanked him and left. In the corridor, I happened to see Lu Chengjun. He stood at the pay desk, holding a payment slip. Su Ning sat not far away, wrapped in his coat. Lu Chengjun saw me, and panic flashed across his face. Jixia, don't misunderstand, I said. I'm not responsible for misunderstanding you right now. He was pricked by that sentence. Su Warning slowly walked over, her voice very weak. Jixia Jie, are you here to question me? Yes. Her expression changed. I look at her. Since you dared to drive away the groom at my wedding again and again, you should accept that I will investigate clearly. Lu Chengjun frowned. Jixia, Ning's health is indeed not good. I hand him the hospital project briefing. Being unwell does not mean you can precisely trigger an episode at my wedding timeline. He bowed his head to look at the paper. His expression changed a little. Su Warning immediately covered her chest. Chengjun, I don't feel well. In the past, whenever she behaved like this, Lu Chengjun would immediately support her. This time, he was a beat slower. With just that half beat, a trace of panic flashed in Su Wanyen's eyes. I saw it. I finally understand. She isn't unable to do without Lu Chengjun. She is unable to let go of the feeling that she has forever outperformed me. I didn't linger any longer. When I returned to the small courtyard, Shenyang was repairing the monastery gate. He wore grey work clothes, sleeves rolled up to the forearms, and had an old scar on the back of his hand. I put the file bag on the table. The evidence is piling up. He nodded and wrote, what do you want to do next? First get the money back, then tell them not to bother me. He writes, do you need me to step in? I shake my head. When needed, I will say so, but mostly I'll handle it myself. There was a hint of a shallow smile in his eyes. Right. Good. In the evening, when I was sorting materials, Lu Chengjun came. He stood outside the yard gate and did not come in. Shenyang went to open the door. Two people face each other across the door. Lu Chengjun spoke first. I came to find Jixia. Shenyang looked back at me. The meaning was clear. See or not. Up to me. I walked out. Lu Chengjun looked at me, his voice hoarse. I read those lists today. Waning Ning. There may indeed be things she didn't say clearly. I smiled. You're still leaving her some room even now. He closed his eyes in pain. I'm not. I just think I'm stupid. You're not stupid, I said. You just choose to believe the person you want to believe more each time. Lu Chengjun looked at me. Jixia, I know it's late to say anything now, but Ning and I really didn't cross any boundaries. I nod. That's your business. He pressed. Don't you care? I look at him. I used to fear hearing this sentence the most, afraid he would think I didn't love him, afraid I seemed cold-blooded, but now I only feel calm. I don't care anymore. Lu Chengjun felt as if he had been punched hard. He stepped forward. Shenyang also stepped forward. Lu Chengjun looked at Shenyang, sneering. Do you really think she loves you? She's just using you to provoke me. I haven't spoken yet when Shenyang took out a handwriting board. He wrote, she doesn't need to love me to leave you. Lu Chengjun was stunned. I was stunned too. Shenyang continued writing. She left you because you hurt her, not because I appeared. The yard was so quiet that only the wind remained. Lu Chengjun's face shifted from anger to embarrassment. He looked at me, his eyes reddening. Jixia, I was wrong, I said. Then just sign all the agreements, pay back on time, and don't come again. He suddenly knelt down, knee slammed onto the bluestone slab. I beg you, give me one more chance. I watched him kneeling outside the door. I had imagined many times before. I imagine him regretting, imagining him chasing after me, imagining him choosing me in front of everyone. But when this moment really came, I did not feel glad. I just felt it was ridiculous. If someone's appreciation can only appear after you completely turn away, then it isn't love, it is a sense of loss. I handed him the betrothal cancellation supplement. There is no chance left. Sign. Lu Chengjun refused to take it. He looked up at me. What if I don't sign? I said, then see you in the mediation room tomorrow. He looked at me for a long time, finally stood up and turned to leave. I thought he finally understood. In just half an hour, the group with friends and family blew up. Lin Chihang sent me a screenshot. Lu Chengjun posted a message in the group. He said, Ji Xia had been in close contact with Shen Yilai before the wedding. I don't want to put it harshly, each of the 4 weddings has its own reasons, but her marrying in a hurry is the biggest betrayal of this relationship, some people said. So it turns out to be this way, someone said. No wonder you were so firm on the wedding day, someone said. Women, they really know how to shoot themselves in the foot. I fixed my eyes on the screen, fingers cooled a little. Shenyang stood beside me and read all the messages. He wrote, do you want to rest for one night before handling it? I shook my head. No. I opened the computer and packed the organized timeline, invoices, every apology text from Lu Chengjun, Su Wanning's provocation screenshots, and wedding notes. Then I sent a line in the group chat. Since Lu Chengjun wants to say it publicly, I will publicly respond. I posted the first picture in the group with family and friends. The message Lu Chengjun sent me on the day of the first wedding cancellation. Jixia, I'm sorry, I owe you a wedding. I'll cover half of the costs. Don't blame Wanyan. She didn't do it on purpose. The second picture. After the second wedding was cancelled, the message from Mother Lu. Jixia, you first placate the guests. Auntie knows you are the most sensible. The money matter can be discussed later. Don't Chengjun be put in a difficult position. Third image. Third marriage certificate cancelled. The message posted by Lu Chengjun at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau. Warning's emotions are unstable, so I'll make a trip first. Wait for me. I can't collect it today, but I'll definitely collect it next week. Fourth picture. Fourth wedding ceremony program. Before exchanging vows, the groom exits. Then there is Su Wanning's private message screenshot. Lin Jiaxia, 4 times already, can't you understand? At first, someone in the group argued back. Soon, old Ju spoke up. I am the host of 4 weddings, and I can vouch that what Jixia said is all true. She always handles the aftermath and has never caused a scene on site. The wedding planning company supervisor also weighed in. The cost records are true. The pair has always been MS. Lin Jixia. The group fell completely silent. Lin Chihang messaged me privately. Sis, do you have to make such a big fuss? Now even the relatives know. How should I conduct myself in the future? I replied to him. When you were spreading rumors, did you ever think about how I would conduct myself? He didn't reply again. Lu Chengjun called me. I didn't pick up. He sent a message. Jixia, what I said just now was out of anger. I take it back. I look at the screen. Withdraw. Damage has never disappeared with a single withdrawal. I replied. 10 a.m. tomorrow, community mediation room. If you don't come, I'll go straight to legal proceedings. The next day, I arrived at the mediation room early. Shenyang accompanies me. He sits in the corner, not participating, only placing the thermos by my side. The mediator is a woman in her 50s, surnamed Zhao. After reviewing the materials, her expression becomes very serious. MS, Lin, your demands are to share the engagement breakup expenses, stop the defamation of your reputation, and for Mr. Lu to make a public clarification. Correct, I nod, and the Lu family must not interfere with my life again in the name of the engagement. Auntie Zhao nods. Lu Chengjun and Lu Mu were 10 minutes late. Su Wanning also arrived. As soon as she walked in, she looked at me with red eyes. Ji Xiajie, I came to personally apologize to you. I said, no need, just don't send wedding distress messages to my fiancé. No, my ex-fiancé. That would be the biggest apology. Aunt Zhao coughed and lowered her head, nearly losing her composure. Mother Lu's expression sank. Lin Jixia, do you have to be so harsh when you speak? I pushed the materials over. I'm not going to quarrel today, only discuss the facts. Lu Chengjun has been looking at me all along. In his gaze there is guilt, reluctance, and a kind of expectation I am familiar with. He hopes that when I see how worn out he is, I will soften, but I have already moved past that stage. The mediation begins. I list 3 demands. First, the Lu family shall bear the wedding losses according to the agreement. Second, Lu Chengjun clarified in the group of friends and family that I have no improper relationship with Shenyang before marriage. Third, the Lu family and Su Wanning must not harass me in any way again. Lu's mother sneered. You've already married, yet you want Chengjun to make that clarification. Aren't you afraid your current husband will mind? I haven't spoken yet. Shenyang raised his head and wrote a sentence on the writing board. Shun Yang looked up and wrote a sentence on the handwriting board. I don't mind her past, I don't mind her past, I mind that you continue to hurt her. I mind you all continuing to hurt her. Aunt Zhao looked at Shun Yang, her eyes softening slightly. Aunt Zhao looked at Shun Yang, and her gaze softened a bit. Lu Chengjuan's face grew even uglier. Shun Yang, this is between me and Jixia, Shun Yang wrote. She is my wife now, but her matters. She speaks for herself. I just sit here. This sentence is not loud. Yet it utterly silences Lu Chengjun because he has never done it. He always makes decisions for me, decide to endure for me, decide to wait for me, decide to understand Su Wanning for me. Now there is a person sitting beside me, but she clearly speaks for herself. I tightened the cup in my hand, and my heart warmed a little. The mediation had been going on for 2 hours. Mother Lu had been trying to push the responsibility onto her emotional dispute. I took out the payment vouchers one by one. Lu Chengjun tried to say that he did not subjectively humiliate me. I pulled out the text of every time he promised to compensate. Su Wanning cried that she was sick. I pulled out the screenshots of her taunting me. In the end, Aunt Zhao put down the pen. Mr. Lu, Mrs. Lu, the evidence is clear. Ms. Lin is not at fault. If you are unwilling to mediate, she can assert her rights separately. Lu's mother's face turned ashen. Lu Chengjun finally signed. He also posted a clarification in the group of friends and family on the spot. The content is what I drafted. I terminated the engagement with Lin Jixia. The responsibility mainly lies with me. She and Mr. Shun Yang do not have any improper relationship. Before marriage, earlier, I made inappropriate remarks in the group and apologized to her. After posting, he seemed to lose all his strength. Su Wanning sat nearby, her face turning pale to the extreme. She probably didn't expect that Lu Chengjuan would publicly apologize for me. When we stepped out of the mediation room, she caught up with me. Lin Jixia, are you satisfied? I said. Not yet. Her eyes flashed with panic. What more do you want? An apology you owe me isn't something you can settle with a couple of tears. She bit her lip. I have already apologized. You don't. I looked at her. You're just admitting your own weakness, never admitting your malice. Her face turned pale. Lu Chengjun stopped in his tracks when he heard this. Su Ning immediately covered her chest. Chengjun, I can't catch my breath. This move had always worked before. This time Lu Chengjun didn't help her up right away. He just looked at her, his voice very low. Warning, are those messages really just venting words? Swan Ning's tears rolled down. Do you not believe me? Lu Chengjun was silent. This silence came too late. I don't want to see it anymore. In the afternoon, I moved out of the wedding house that I originally prepared with Lu Chengjun. That house is in his name. I only took the things I bought myself. Bedding, kitchenware, books. There are also 4 wedding planning notebooks kept at the deepest part of the wardrobe. Each notebook's cover bears a date. Every date ends up as a joke. In the end, I packed the notebooks into boxes. When Lu Chengjun arrived, I had finished moving. He stood at the doorway, his voice hoarse. Jixia, have you been tired all these years? I was holding a box. Yes, why didn't you tell me sooner? I smiled. I've said it many times. Every time you tell me not to quibble with Wn Ning. His eyes reddened. I walked around him. He suddenly grabbed the box. Can you not leave? Shun Yang reached out and took my box. I looked at Lu Chengjun. Lu Chengjun, let go. He did not let go. I worded it carefully. This is the 5th time. He froze. For the first 4 times, you let me go at the wedding. This time, it's your turn to let go. His hand slowly loosened. I held the box and left. When I reached the downstairs, the sunlight was blinding. Shun Yang put the box into the car and wrote a sentence for me. You did it. I looked at those 4 characters, and tears almost fell, but I held them back because there is a bigger battle to fight at night as well. Lumu sent a message, a family dinner tomorrow night. We will clear the air in front of all the relatives. Do you dare to come? I replied. I dare. Remember to bring the account book. The Lu family's dinner gathering had become a semi-public gathering with friends and family. The venue was still a hotel. They have a knack for picking places, not a formal banquet hall, but it was enough for dozens of relatives to crowd around and watch. When I went in, I heard someone whisper, she really dares to come, marrying that Shun Yang and still not settled down. Women are too strong. Life will be hard for her in the future. Shun Yang stood beside me. He wore a dark jacket today, with an old watch on his left wrist. He didn't say a word all the way. Only before getting off the bus he wrote a note to me. If you're not feeling well, just leave. Not every battle has to be fought to the end. I folded the paper and put it in my pocket, but I must finish this battle in the private box. Mrs. Lu sat in the middle of the main table. Lu Chengjun sat next to her. Su Wanning sat on the other side. Mr. Lin and Mrs. Lin have also arrived. I'm not surprised at all. The Lu family wants to push me. The Lin family wants me to step back to save their faces for the first time. Both sides are in such agreement. Grandmother Lu spoke first. Jixia, today everyone is here. We don't want to quarrel. If you bring out the accounts, we'll settle it. But you also have to admit, turning around and marrying someone else on your wedding day would greatly hurt Chengjun. I sat down. I admit it. Everyone froze. I continue. I admit that marrying him has dealt a heavy blow to Lu Chengjun's pride. But I won't apologize. Lu's mother's face darkens. Why? Because when he abandoned me 4 times, he never paused to consider the damage to my dignity. The private room fell silent. Lin Mu immediately stepped in to smooth things over. Jixia, you should stop talking. Chengjun has apologized, and the Lu family is willing to discuss compensation. What else do you want? I looked at her. Mom, whose side are you on today? Ms. Lin choked on her own fear. I of course stand on the side of reason. Then hear the facts. I took out the file bag. This time I didn't hand them out one by one. I pasted the timeline directly onto the projection the first time. 10 minutes before the wedding convoy set off, Su Wanning sent a message saying she had fainted. Lu Chengjun left for the second time. 20 minutes before the hotel check-in, Su Wanyin claimed she was kicked out by the landlady. Lu Chengjun left the third time. 1 hour before obtaining the certificate, Su Wanning claimed to be emotionally overwhelmed. Lu Chengjun left the 4th time. Before exchanging vows, Su Wanning claimed to be in the emergency department. Lu Chengjun left for lines of text concise, dazzling, or blinding. I again released the corresponding expenditure. But maybe I once again recorded the corresponding expenditure. Better, each time afterward, it is a record of my payment. Or every time thereafter, there is a record of my payment. Finally, the text of Lu Chengjun's apology and commitment to compensation. I did not cry. I did not swear. I'm just laying out the facts. A relative from the Lu family whispered, "This is really too much." Another person said, "4 times. Who can stand it?" Mother Lu's expression grew paler and paler. Su Wanning suddenly stood up. She picked up a cup of tea and walked to my front. "Jixia, I toast you. I really know I was wrong. If you insist I compensate, I can pay it back slowly. Please don't force Chengjun anymore. She speaks very well, but every sentence hints that I am being aggressive." I didn't take the tea. Su Wanning, what you owe isn't money. Her eyes reddened. "Then what do you want me to do? Should I kneel before you?" She spoke, and her knees were about to bend. Lu Chengjun instinctively stood up to support her. I laughed. "Look, it's here again." Lu Chengjun's hand froze in midair. Su Wanning also froze. I looked at the crowd. She's great at making others choose at critical moments. Before, it was the wedding, now it's the apology. As soon as she wavers, everyone's attention shifts from the facts to whether I'm too ruthless. The private room fell silent. I went on. "Today I don't need her to kneel. I want her to admit in the group chat with friends and family that she contacted Lu Chengjun 4 times at wedding moments and sent me provocative messages." Su Wanning's face turned pale. "I didn't provoke. I'm just not in a good mood." I pulled out the screenshots. "Then let everyone judge." Lu Chengjun stared at the screen, his Adam's apple bobbing. He obviously has read it. The relatives have not. When the line "as long as I say the word, he will come to my side forever" was thrown out, someone in the private room drew in a breath. Su Wanning wavered precariously. Mother Lu clenched her teeth and said, "Swen Ning is young and naive." She spoke without thinking. I replied, "She is 28, not 8. I have said this to Lin Qihang before. Now I am saying it again to Su Wanning." Mother Lin's face looked very ugly, because she understood as well. In the past they always used young, naive, body not well, the whole family to excuse others' responsibilities. Only my grievances must be dealt with maturely. I pushed my phone in front of Su Wanning. "Send." Su Wanning looked at Lu Chengjun. "Chengjun." Lu Chengjun closed his eyes. "Send it." Those 2 words caused Su Wanning's tears to fall completely. She trembled as she sent an apology in the group. The content is short, but clear enough. She admitted that 4 times she contacted Lu Chengjun at key moments related to Lin Jixia's wedding. and also admitted having sent inappropriate provocative remarks to Lin Jixia after posting. The group exploded, relatives began to flood the messages, someone apologized, someone said they previously misunderstood me, someone cursed Lu Chengjun as clueless, someone insulted Su Wanning as a shameless person. Su Wanning covered her face and ran out. Lu Chengjun instinctively wanted to chase. I looked at him, everyone in the entire box looked at him. His footsteps paused at the door this time. He didn't chase, he looked back at me, his gaze complex to the point of almost pain. I knew he finally realized that every time he ran out, he was leaving me in humiliation. A belated realization is worthless. Mother Lu barely keeps up appearances. Enough, we've said what needed to be said, we will repay the money and have apologized. Jixia, you should know when to stop. I put away the materials. And there's one more thing. Mother Lu looked at me warily. I produced a statement. From today onward, the Lu family, Su Wanning, and the relatives and friends on both sides shall not gossip, harass, or insult me and Shen Yang regarding the engagement break, otherwise I will reserve my right to pursue legal action. Mother Lu laughed in anger. You really think highly of yourself. Shen Yang suddenly stood up. He lifted the handwriting board. There was only one sentence on it. She was meant to be taken seriously from the start. No one in the box spoke. I looked up at him. He stood under the lamp, silent, yet unwavering. At that moment I suddenly understood. Shen Yang's silence was not blank. Every word he spoke landed exactly where it should. When the family feast ended, Lu Chengjun chased after him to the parking lot. Jixia, I didn't chase out today. I nod. I saw it. His eyes brightened for a moment, like he had grasped the last bit of hope. Then we are, right, no way. His light vanished in an instant. His glow flickered out immediately. I looked at him and explained everything word by word. I looked at him and spoke clearly, word by word. Lu Chengjun, you didn't chase out today, not for me, but because everyone is watching you. The real choice isn't to act for others when someone is watching, but not to hurt me when no one is watching. He welled up with red eyes and said nothing more. I turned and got into the car. When we returned to the small courtyard, Shen Yang parked the car but did not get out immediately. He wrote, "You're amazing today," I said. "Actually I'm scared," he wrote. "Even if scared, I did it, so that's being amazing." I looked at him and suddenly smiled. "Shen Yang, you really can't speak sweet words." He paused, writing, "I can learn." My heart softened a little, just about to speak. The phone rang. Unknown number. After the call connects, it is Su Wanning's voice. She cried, "Lin Jixia, are you satisfied? If something happens to me, you are the culprit." The call ended. I looked at the screen, my face turning cold. Shen Yang saw my expression and handed me the writing tablet. I only said one sentence. She's starting again. Su Wanning did not go missing. She went to the hospital. When Lu Chengjun sent me a message, I was in the little courtyard watering the plants. He said, Wanning cut her wrist. The wound is not deep, but she is very emotional. She has been saying that you pressured her. I finished reading and replied with 4 characters. Find a doctor. Lu Chengjun hadn't replied for a long time. Half an hour later, he sent again, "Won't you come and take a look?" I looked at this sentence and suddenly smiled. Every time before, when Su Wannings had trouble, he would tell me to wait. Now that Su Wannings has trouble again, he wants me to take on the burden. I reply, I am not her family, nor her friend, and certainly not your emotional trash can. After sending it, I turned off my phone. Shen Yang sits on the other side of the courtyard repairing a chair. He looks up at me. I say, "Lu Chengjun told me to go to the hospital." He writes, "Do you want to go?" "Don't want to." He nods, then he continues repairing the chair. That's all. There was no exhortation for me to be kind. There was no exhortation for me not to reveal the facts. There was no talk of what to do if something really happened. He only asked me if I wanted to. In the afternoon, Aunt Zhao called me. She said Su Wanning has caused a big fuss in the hospital, and the Lu family hopes I will go there to talk things through, so the situation doesn't keep fermenting. I didn't really want to go, but Aunt Zhao added, "She's been saying you forced her. If you don't go, she might keep pushing the blame onto you. You can come, but remember, don't meet her alone." I went. Shen Yang accompanied me. In the hospital corridor, Su Wanqing sat on a chair, her wrist wrapped in gauze. The wound is not deep after all. She saw me, and tears immediately welled up. "Jixia, sister, I've already apologized. Why won't you let me go?" I stood 3 steps away. "I'm here today because you've put my name into your play again." Her face turned pale. Lu Chengjun was beside her. Looking exhausted, Mother Lu was also there, clearly fed up and irritated. Su Wanning cried, "I wasn't acting, I was just in so much pain. When I was a child, no one cared for me, only Cheng Jun treated me well. Now you're taking away even this little warmth." I nod. Then I ask you, the money Lu Chengjun gave you, is it warm? Su Wanning is stunned. Lu Chengjun also looks up at her. I pulled out a few transfer screenshots. These aren't stolen by me. It was Lu Chengjun who once forwarded them to me, asking me not to misunderstand, saying it was just helping Su Wanning with an advance, from rent to medical expenses, to training fees, to travel deposits each time. He says he's just helping temporarily. I ask Su Wanning, you say you have no family, no friends, no income. But the money you spent on travel photography in Yunnan last year was also paid by Lu Chengjun. That day was the second day after my third failed marriage registration. Lu Chengjun's face instantly changed. Travel photography in Yunnan. Su Wanning panicked. That's because I wasn't in a good mood. I wanted to go out to unwind. I laughed. You went out to relax after my marriage filing failed, using money from my fiancé. Lu Mu looked at Lu Chengjun in shock. You still give her money like this? Lu Chengjun did not speak. I continued. You don't just need him. You enjoy him giving up on me for you. Every time you cry, you can trade it for money, companionship, and a sense of victory. Su Wanning cried out sharply. You're lying. She pounced over, trying to grab my phone. Shenyang stood in front of me. Lu Chengjun also reached out to stop her. Su Wanning saw Lu Chengjun stop her and completely collapsed. Are you helping her now? Lu Chengjun, have you forgotten who stood by you during your hardest times? When your parents pressured you to join the company, who heard you cry? When you argued with Lin Jixia, who stayed with you through the drinks? I listened calmly. Lu Chengjun's face grew paler and paler, because she let slip. What she called frail dependency concealed too many intimate moments inside. Lu Mu was so angry that her lips trembled. Chengjun, how much more are you hiding from us about her? Lu Chengjun replied in a hoarse voice. Mom, it's not what you think. I looked at him. He has said this sentence to me many times as well. Now it's finally Lu Mu's turn to listen. Su Wanning cried even harder. She dug out a stack of documents from her bag and threw them onto Lu Chengjun. These years I've taken medicine, rented a place, seen a psychologist. Aren't any of those because of you? You said you would always take care of me. Now that Lin Jiaxia doesn't want you, you don't want me either. Lu Chengjun looked at the receipts, and the guilt in his eyes slowly turned into exhaustion. Wn Ning, taking care of you doesn't mean I'm responsible for your life. Su Wn Ning was stunned. If he had said this 7 years ago, I would not have been abandoned 4 times. But he is only saying it now. It no longer means anything to me. I put away the materials and said to Aunt Zhao, I will not pursue today's accusation against her. But if she continues to shift responsibility onto me through self-harm, I will request written notification to prevent involvement in the future. Aunt Zhao nodded. This is right. Su Wanning sits on the chair, as if drained of all strength. Lu Chengjun looks at me. Jixia, I'm sorry, I said. You don't have to apologize all the time. Repaying the debt is more useful than apologies. He forced a smile. When leaving the hospital, Shenyang opened the car door. I had just sat in when Lu Chengjun chased after me. Jixia, can I speak with you alone for a moment? Shenyang looked at me. I shook my head. No need to be alone. Everything that needs to be said has been said. Lu Chengjun gulped, his throat tight. I know I have no right, but you and Shenyang, will you really be happy? I looked at him. Happy isn't something you approve with a review. His expression stiffened. I shut the car door. When the car drove away, I saw Lu Chengjun standing at the hospital gate in the rearview mirror. He finally didn't chase after anyone, but no one waited for him anymore that night. Mother Lu sent a message. The tone was no longer firm. She said, tomorrow night, we'll hold an apology banquet. All the Lu family relatives will be present, to completely clear up the previous misunderstanding. The repayment agreement can also be settled on the spot. I looked at the words apology banquet and knew there would be more than just apologies inside. Shen Yenye wrote, do you suspect there's a problem? I nodded. Mother Lu isn't someone who will bow her head. She cares more about face. She might want me to admit that both sides are wrong, giving the Lu family a way out. Shen Yenye wrote. Then are you going? Go. I closed the ledger. She wants to be dignified. I want clarity. Mother Lu's apology banquet was held almost like a trial. she invited relatives from the Lu family, as well as members of the Lin family, and she even specially called several elders who were familiar with both families. Flowers were placed at the door of the private room, red wine was placed on the table. For those who didn't know, one would think it was a post-wedding banquet. As soon as I went in, I saw 2 seats empty beside the main seat. Mother Lu smiled politely. Jixia, Shenyang, sit here. I did not move. I can sit by the door, it's convenient to leave. A stiff smile appeared on Mother Lu's face. Shenyang sat down beside me by the door. Mother Lin looked at me, her expressions complex. Ever since I had Lin's father write an IOU, she hasn't contacted me for 2 days. Lin Qihang has sent a few insulting messages, though I didn't reply, just took screenshots and saved them. Mother Lu raised her glass and stood up. Today's meal is us Lu's family apologizing to Jixia for our wrongs. Cheng Jun did something wrong, which harmed Jixia. That statement sounds very nice. The next line indeed came, but young people's feelings are bound to have impulses. On the wedding day, Jixia turned around to register, which also hurt the relationships between the 2 families. Today everyone is here to speak openly, and in the future, we will still be friends. I set the teacup down. You don't have to be friends. Lu's mother's expression turned cold for a moment. I said, apologies are acceptable, but there's no need to be friends. An elder cleared their throat. Jixia, don't speak as if it's the end. Cheng Jun indeed made mistakes, but you can't show no courtesy at all. I look at him. Is the kind of face saving you're talking about the one where I'm abandoned 4 times and still have to smile and toast? The elder stops speaking. Mother Lu tightens the wine glass. So tell me, how should we proceed today to make you satisfied? I produce 3 documents. First, the repayment plan. Second, the clarification statement. Third, the mutual non-harassment pledge. Mother Lu sneered. You're all prepared. The person who is driven to a 4th wedding must learn to be prepared. I submitted the repayment plan. Lu Jia undertakes 423,000, paid in 6 installments. The monthly payments are made on a fixed date. Delinquency will be handled according to the agreement. Lu Mu looked over, her face draining of color. You really leave no room at all, I said. Lu Chengjun never leaves me any room whenever he leaves the wedding scene either. Lu Chengjun whispered, I'll sign. Mother Lu yelled, shut up. She turned to me, Jixia, we can repay the money, but you must admit that you marrying Shenyang was to provoke Chengjun. The private room fell silent. I knew it. This is her real purpose. She wants to turn Lu Chengjuan's 4 departures into mutual fault. She wants to turn my marriage into a vengeful choice. In this way, the Lu family will no longer be the ones who are owed, but she is one of the victims. I look at Lu Mu. I don't admit it. Lu Mu sneers. Cancelling the wedding and getting the certificate the next day. What isn't stimulation? I took out from the bag the handwritten pre-marriage agreement copy from Shenyang. This is the agreement Shenyang wrote to me before getting the certificate. It clearly states that my property is mine, my decisions are mine, and I can end this marriage at any time. I took out another piece of paper. This is the guarantee Lu Chengjun wrote to me after the first wedding was cancelled. It states that the wedding will never be affected again by Su Weining. Second card, second time, he wrote. The last time, third card, third time, he wrote. We'll change the date of the license. Next time for sure. Part 4. The 4th time, he didn't write, because I didn't need it anymore. I laid 4 sheets of paper on the table. A man gave me 4 promises and broke them 4 times. Another man told me before we registered that I could leave at any time. Aunt Lu, why do you think I chose the latter? Lu Mu cannot speak. Lin Mu suddenly spoke. But you and Shenyang have no emotional foundation. I looked at her. I and Lu Chengjun have 7 years of emotional foundation. And what about the result? Mom Lin choked. Shenyang remained silent throughout until someone whispered, after all that, her current husband is basically taking advantage, a retired man, not much ability to speak. What real skills could he have? My fingers tightened. However, Shenyang pressed down on the back of my hand. Shenyang, however, pushed my hand back. A light tap, a gentle tap, then he picked up the writing tablet, then he picked up the stylus pad. There's no need to belittle me to prove that Lu Chengjun isn't that bad. No need to belittle me to prove that Lu Chengjun isn't that bad. The things he did wrong are only related to him. The private room fell silent. I looked at those lines, and my chest grew hot. Shenyang cannot argue, but every word he uttered was neither servile nor arrogant. Lu Chengjun fixed his eyes on Shenyang. For the first time there was no hostility in them, only an indescribable sense of defeat. He suddenly stood up. "Mom, don't say another word." Lu Mu's expression changed. Lu Chengjun walked up to me, picked up a pen, and signed on the 3 documents. After signing, he turned to everyone and said, "This is my 4th marriage. I am leaving. Jixia did not wrong me. Whatever she marries is her own freedom." Lu Mu's eyes reddened with anger. "Chengjun." Lu Chengjun seemed not to hear. He looked at me. "What I owe you is more than this money, but I can only pay back these for now." I put away the documents. "Enough. I just don't want to owe anything new." He forced a smile. Su Wanning did not come, but she posted a very long moments update. The content is roughly about how lonely she has been all these years, how she has been misunderstood, how she has lost her only friend. There were people offering her comfort. There were also people beginning to question her. I didn't like or comment. She no longer deserves me wasting my emotions on. After the apology banquet ended, Lu Chengjun sent us to the gate. He whispered, "Jixia, if we didn't have WN Ning, would we be different?" I look at the night. "No." He froze. I say, "Su Wanyan only magnified the problem. The real issue is that you've gotten used to me being placed behind you." His eye sockets reddened. "Can I still change now? You still have time." A gleam appeared in his eyes for a moment. I finished the second half of the sentence. There was time to become someone who wouldn't hurt others anymore, but there wasn't time to become my husband. His light faded again. I did not soften. After getting in the car, Shenyang handed me a cup of hot soy milk. I was surprised. "When did you buy it?" He wrote, "You didn't eat much this evening," holding the soy milk. I suddenly said, "Shenyang, I want to come see your work tomorrow." He was briefly stunned. I explained, "If you are willing." He wrote, "Willing." After a moment, he wrote again, "There is a Veterans Memorial event tomorrow. A lot of people. You might hear something unpleasant." I said, "Have I been listening less today?" A hint of a smile rose in his eyes. I smiled too, but I didn't expect that the next day, those words would be louder and harsher than the Lu family's humiliation. The place where Shenyang works is a veteran service station, not very big. At the gate hangs an old sign, and there are a few benches in the yard. Usually, he helps veterans with repairs to home appliances, runs errands for them, and provides psychological support for injured veterans. These are not what he told me. It was Uncle Wang from the station who said it. Shenyang is a quiet-spoken boy, but he is steady in his work. If someone's lamp is broken or an elderly person is hospitalized, he goes there. I looked at Shenyang, who was moving supplies. His movements were very smooth. Only when his left leg moved quickly there was a slightly noticeable pause. Uncle Wang sighed. "When I saved him back then, the injuries were serious. His throat was damaged at that time too. He did a good deed, but he never mentions it." I didn't ask for details, because scars are not talking points. Before the event started, quite a few people arrived. There were veterans, family members, and community representatives. I stood in the corner, helping distribute the memorial albums. I didn't expect Lu Chengjun to come as well. He came with Father Lu. Father Lu has a donation relationship with the service station. Lu Chengjun clearly froze when he saw me. I ignored him. "Can anyone recognize me in Shenyang? Is that Lin Jixia, the bride on the wedding day married to the man who doesn't speak?" I heard his retired, injured his throat. What a pity. A woman who has had her engagement called off 4 times, rushing to find a new family, also normal. These words are not too loud or too soft, just loud enough to be heard. I set the commemorative album down and was about to go over. Shenyang, however, stepped ahead of those few people. He pulled out a handwritten tablet. "Please don't gossip about my wife." Those people forced an embarrassed smile. "Ah, just a joke." Shenyang continued to write, "She is not the next person. I am the one she chose herself." My heart gave a sudden jolt. Lu Chengjun stood not far away, his face pale. Those few people dared not to speak again. The event begins. When the host introduces the retired representatives, Shenyang's name is read. Only then did I learn that during a border rescue operation, he carried out 3 trapped people on his back, and himself was wounded in the throat and leg by shrapnel. He has received honors, but has not participated in subsequent interviews. The host invited him onto the stage. Shenyang did not speak. He just stood on the stage, saluting the audience. The light fell on him in that moment. I suddenly understood. Silence is not a defect. Some people stay silent because they have finished what needed to be done. After the event ended, Lu Chengjun walked over. He looked at Shenyang, his voice very low. I apologize on behalf of them for what I just said, Shenyang wrote. There's no need to apologize for others. Just take care of yourself. Lu Chengjun forced a smile. He looked at me. Ji Xia, did I always make you be sensible for others before as well? I said. Yes, he nodded. Only now do I understand that being sensible often means making one person not suffer. I didn't respond. His awakening came too late. Su Wen-ning has arrived as well. She stood outside the event venue, wearing a mask, her eyes exhausted. Lu Chengjun stiffened noticeably when he saw her. Su Wen-ning walked over, her voice very soft. Chen Jun, I want to leave. Lu Chengjun fell silent. She looked at me. Lin Jixia, I used to be really jealous of you. You have a family, a wedding, a status given to you. By him, I have nothing, I said, so you just snatch someone else's crucial moment. Her eyes reddened. I know there's no point in saying anything now. Indeed, there's no use. She lowered her head. I will leave this city. I've already apologized to you in the group chat. I will slowly pay back the money I owe to Lu Chengjun. I didn't say forgive me. I only said, I hope you won't hurt people with your vulnerability in the future. She cried. No one helped her this time. Lu Chengjun did not move. Shenyang also did not move. I would not move either. She stood still on her own, turned around, and walked away. This is what she should learn to do. In the evening, Lu Chengjun waited for me at the entrance of the service station. One last time, he said, I'm only going to say it one last time. Shenyang looked at me. I nodded. He retreated a short distance, but didn't leave. Lu Chengjun looked at me, his eyes very red. I used to think you wouldn't leave. After the first wedding, you comforted all the relatives. After the second, you smoothed things over for my mother. After the third, you even bought medicine for Wen-ning. After the fourth, I thought you would at most cry once. I listened quietly. I took your goodness as something I could never lose. His voice choked up at this point. Jixia, I really did love you. It's just that I'm too selfish, too cowardly. I like you to stand firmly in place waiting for me. Yet I'm reluctant to give up the feeling of being needed, the kind that Wen-ning has. This time, he finally told the truth, but my heart was very calm. I said, Lu Chengjun, having loved does not mean you deserve to go back. He nodded, tears dripping down. I know. He took a small box out of his pocket. Inside was my wedding ring at yesterday's wedding. I had placed it on the MC's podium, and he picked it up. Here you go. I didn't answer. Sell it, to cover the first installment. He paled, then he forced a bitter, okay. He put the box away. Wish you happiness, I said, and may you not disappointment others in the future. This is the last bit of decency I can give him. After he left, I stood there for a long time. Shenyang walked over and handed me a piece of paper. Are you sad? I thought for a moment. There's one thing, it's not that I can't let go. I just feel that my past self suffered too much. He wrote, may there be less suffering in the future. I looked at him and suddenly asked, Shenyang, why did you agree to marry me and get a marriage license? Was it really just because of my grandmother? He was silent for a long time, then he wrote, no. He wrote again, I was also at the first wedding. That day you sent off the last table of guests, and you sat alone in the stairwell crying. I wanted to hand you a tissue, but you wiped your tears yourself and stood up. I was stunned. It turns out he had already seen me at my most pathetic. He kept writing, I'm not here to save you. I just feel that if one day you don't want to hold on by yourself, I can stand by your side. My tears fell all at once. I lowered my head and smiled. Isn't that just flowery talk? His ears reddened slightly. Right, the plain truth. I put that paper away in my bag. The sky slowly darkened. For the first time, I felt that the future is not a red carpet laid out for me by others. It can be a stone path at the entrance of a small courtyard. Not glamorous, but I walk myself. 1 month later, the Liu family sent the first repayment. The amount wasn't large, but it arrived on time according to the agreement. I was hanging a sign for the new studio when I received the text message. The studio is named Ji Xia Wedding Restoration Studio. It sounds a little strange. I'm no longer just a wedding planner. I started helping girls who were about to get married and discovered relationship problems with pre-wedding logistics, bills, agreements, communication checklists, emergency exit plans. Old Jew laughed at me. You're turning scars into shields, I said. Scars hurt if left idle, so it's better to put them to use. The first client is a 26-year-old girl. Her fiancé demanded that she quit her job before marriage, and she should give the betrothal gifts to buy a car for her younger brother. She sat across from me, her eyes red, and asked, Sister Lin, am I too petty? I pushed a blank checklist toward her. You're not bargaining. You're confirming whether you'll be consumed. When I said that sentence, I suddenly recalled my former self. If someone had told me this back then, perhaps I wouldn't have awakened only at my fourth wedding. But life has no ifs, only starting now. Over at the Lin family's place, the IOUs have begun to be enforced. Father Lin transfers money every month. Mother Lin initially cried in front of relatives, saying her daughter was forcing her parents to repay the money. Someone in the close friends group has seen the transfer records I posted, but no one lashes out at me as one-sidedly as before. Lin Chihang is the worst off. After I cancelled the automatic transfers, it was the first time he truly faced the mortgage on his own. He has called me, and his tone changed from anger to pleading. Sister, I used to be mean with my words. Please don't hold it against me. Help me for 2 more months, just 2 months. I said, you can sell the car. He was silent. That car is my pride, I told him. My wedding is also my face. You guys have made me lose face 4 times. He didn't say anything else. I heard later that he sold his car. The mortgage was kept. People have become a little more honest. Mother Lin still refuses to admit fault, but she can no longer scold me casually because I no longer answer any of her phone calls, contact once a week, only talk about parents' health and repayment. Any excessive emotional blackmail, I hang up directly. When I hung up the first time, my hands trembled severely. Yang Chen wrote nearby, boundary is not unfilial. I stuck that paper to the desk. Lu Chengjun came by again later. He didn't enter the studio, only stood outside the door. I went out to meet him. The money from selling the wedding ring was transferred to me, with the note, first phase of extra compensation. I quit the job arranged by my family, planning to work in another place for a period of time. He said. I nod. Pretty good. He looks at the studio sign, and smiles with a bit of bitterness. You used to do weddings for others. Now helping others leave an unsuitable wedding isn't right. Not leaving, I correct him. To give them a choice. He was silent for a moment. Jixia, I only now realize that you have always been braver than me. I said, no, I've just cried enough. His eyes grew red again, but this time, he did not beg me to turn back. He spoke seriously. Sorry. I nod. I received it. It does not mean forgiveness, just received. The day he left, it rained in the city. I stood at the doorway watching him get into the car. There was no chasing, and no lingering sadness for too long. Some people can only walk with you up to the wound, then you have to move forward by yourself. Su Ning also left. She withdrew from the group very quietly. Later she sent me a message. Lin Jixia, I won't ask for your forgiveness. I just want to say that I once truly regarded defeating you as proof of my existence. Looking back now, it's truly tragic. I didn't reply because that is the central theme of her life. It's not mine. My marriage with Shenyang is different from what others think. There is no whirlwind romance. There is no domineering protection of a wife. He won't suddenly become a tycoon, nor will he defeat everyone for me. He gets up at 6 every morning and waters the osmanthus tree in the yard. When I'm busy until late at night, he leaves hot rice in the pot. When I'm in a bad mood, he doesn't press for answers. He only places a tangerine candy on the table. Sometimes only a few words can come from his throat. The first time I heard him call my name was on a very ordinary evening. That day I stood on a chair to reach the files on top of the cabinet, and my foot slipped. He held me up, his voice hoarse and gentle. Jixia, 2 characters like wind squeezed from an old wound. I was stunned. He was stunned too, frowning as he pressed his throat. I hurriedly came down. Does it hurt? He shook his head, took the writing tablet and wrote. A little, I said. Don't push yourself if it hurts in the future. He looked at me and wrote, not to force it. Want to call you. I held the handwritten tablet in my hands and was speechless for a long time. Later, I began to learn sign language as well. Learning was very slow. The first word I learned was thank you. The second was home. The third was like. When Shenyang saw me gesturing the third word, he froze. I asked intentionally, did I get the wrong answer? His ears reddened, and he shook his head. Then he slowly returned the same gesture. In that moment, I suddenly felt that love does not need to be witnessed by 300 people at a wedding. It can also quietly happen in a small courtyard, under a lamp, between 2 not-so-skilled hands. 6 months later, Shenyang and I held a very small ceremony. There was no red carpet, there was no master of ceremonies. There are only a few people who truly bless us. Old Jew is here, bringing a bouquet of white roses. He said, this time I won't host. I'll just attend the banquet. I smiled and said, this time there is no banquet. Just a table of home-cooked dishes. Aunt Zhao has come as well. Uncle Wang has arrived. A few of Shenyang's old comrades in arms have come. Father Lin has come. Sitting very quietly, Lin Mu didn't come, but she entrusted Lin Fu to bring a red envelope. I did not open it, and I did not return it, just placed in the corner of the table. Some relationships do not need to be reconciled immediately. Keeping distance is also a way of living. Before the ceremony began, Shenyang handed me a piece of paper. It says above this time, if you want to leave, I'll go with you. If you want to stay, I'll stay with you. Whichever you choose, it's up to you. I looked at that paper. My eyes feeling hot, I asked him, can't you write something romantic? He thought for a moment, took the paper back, and added a line beneath it. I like the way you choose your own life. I cried with a smile. This sentence is romantic enough. I didn't wear that old wedding dress. I cut a small piece from that wedding dress and made it into I donated the rest to a drama club. It should no longer trap me. I wore a simple white dress and stood under the Osmanthus tree. Shenyang stood opposite me. No vows exchanged. We simply held two plain rings in our palms together. I said, Shenyang, I can't promise that I'll never be afraid. He nodded. I said, it's not possible to guarantee completely forgetting the past either. He kept nodding. I took a deep breath. But I promise, in the future I will not lose myself for anyone again. Yang Yang looked at me. He did not write. He spoke very slowly and softly. Okay. The voice was hoarse, yet clear. I laughed. The Osmanthus fell down. Someone clapped. Old Jew wiped away his tears. Now this sounds like a wedding. I look at the person in front of me, and suddenly I remember the night I was abandoned for the 4th time. Back then I thought I was utterly defeated, sitting in a wedding dress at the back door of a hotel, like the biggest joke in the world. But now I know, that wasn't the end. That was the moment I finally stepped off someone else's red carpet, walking back to my own path.